with a little Rob Zombie there. I'm your boogeyman. If you're a little bit older, you might not recognize this version of the song. Yes, Rob Zombie, in case you want to look that up. Well, welcome back to the Patrick Reagan Show, coming to you live on News Talk 98.7 WOKI and worldwide on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. This segment, I want to talk a little bit about this. I've been noticing this disturbing trend lately. Well, I guess really over the past decade or so. Increasingly, we have a government that has lost any pretense of following the rule of law. Congress passes laws in clear violation of the United States Constitution. Then they blame the Obama administration when someone starts complaining about it. Hey, the NSA is spying on people. Oh, well, that's an agency of the executive branch. Obama's doing it. He's collecting information in violation of the Constitution. Hey, stupids, you're the one that passed the laws allowing it. Now, that's not an excuse for the Obama administration to knowingly continue to carry on these violations. But when House Representatives Amish and Conyers tried to get an amendment passed to limit this spying, like we talked about on the show just last week, they couldn't get the votes because people from both parties stood with the president and got it defeated. What we need to decide is, are we going to be a country that follows the law or not? If we are, then we all need to follow the law. It should apply equally to everyone, citizens and government. After all, government isn't some amorphous entity out there. It's composed of citizens just like us. Only apparently these citizens and government don't believe the law applies to them, or only applies to them in ways they see fit. Whether that agrees with the Constitution or not apparently really doesn't matter to them. Now, on this same note, Senator Rand Paul this week tried to add an amendment to the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Appropriations Bill. Now, this amendment, which was number, 1739, was to stop military assistance to Egypt by enforcing current law that the Obama administration is violating. This existing law prohibits the United States from providing foreign assistance to nations that experience a military coup d'etat, which is what happened in Egypt. Now, whether you agree with what happened or not, the military overthrew the elected sitting leadership of that country. Now, here's a clip from Senator Paul's speech before the vote was taken there in the Senate.
The law is very clear. Everyone here in Congress can read. They recognize that the law says when there's a military coup, the aid must end. Today we will vote on whether or not they will obey the law or whether they will openly flout the law and disobey. When a military coup overturns a democratically elected government, all military aid must end. That's the law. There is no presidential waiver. The law states unequivocally that the aid must end. So when the military coup occurred in Egypt, how did the president respond? How did Congress respond? The president and his cohorts in Congress responded by shoveling good money after bad into the failed state of Egypt.
It seems pretty clear to me. Then again, I'm not a senator, so I guess maybe I just don't understand the nuances of the law as well as them. But I doubt it. I think it's incredible that we had to have an amendment directing the government to follow existing law. The government is breaking the law by sending military assistance to Egypt. Right now, they're doing this. This amendment failed. It didn't pass. The Senate voted to not follow the law. Do you have that same privilege? hey, I don't like obeying a certain law. It doesn't work for me, so I'm just not going to do it. How ridiculous is this? One of the primary origins of this dilemma in our society is that our children, or school children, are not being taught the Constitution. They aren't being taught that the citizens of this country hold the power and the government only holds permissions from us. We're being propagandized that the opposite is true. The government holds the power, and we have to seek permission from it to do whatever we want to do. It's like you're playing a game, but you aren't told the rules. What most people learn about their rights in the Constitution, they get off CSI or cops. The reason for this is all really very simple. The government doesn't want you to know the rules. It's like the church did back in the past when you weren't allowed to read the Bible. You were just supposed to sit there, and the church leaders would tell you what it said and means. Same thing now with the Constitution. We're told only true constitutional scholars can understand it. The president stated this very thing during an interview with the New York Times. His exact words about his critics in Congress were, quote, "But ultimately I'm not concerned about their opinions. Very few of them, by the way, are lawyers, much less constitutional lawyers," unquote. Now, I spoke at the Knox County Libertarian Party meeting a few weeks ago, and one of the things I told them was, when it comes to government, I don't trust anyone. Not the Republicans, not the Democrats, yes, not even the Libertarians. I gave them the example. If the Libertarian Party swept the next elections, won majorities in Congress in both the Senate and the House, I would bet every last cent of my money that we would have a significant percentage of these supposed defenders of freedom and liberty screwing us over just like everyone else up there does. There is just too much to be gained by doing so. That's the real problem we have in government. We've gone from a individual-centric system of government to a government-centric system. Only by dialing all this back, starving the government of money, only that will bring the power back to where it's supposed to be, the individual citizen of this country. You know, you liberals, and heck, you conservatives too, you really need to take a long, hard look at what you're allowing to happen, not just in this country, but around the world. What you're excusing this president and this government from doing just because he's your guy. Oh, he's on my side. It's my team. So if he's violating people's rights, not following the law, hey, that's okay. But when George Bush was doing the same things, heck, you know, Obama is actually carrying what George Bush did to extremes. But when Bush was doing them, the whole world was going to end. But when Obama is doing the same things, the silence is just deafening. Well, what that tells me and tells most Americans is that you liberals and conservatives, you aren't too concerned about protecting people's rights as much as you are about your own power, making sure your team wins. Now, the bad thing is this attitude is starting to rub off on the general population. It's like a couple of lawyers in a courtroom. Sometimes they aren't as concerned about justice as they are about their side winning. That's what's starting to happen in America. We're seeing it all around us. People aren't so worried about the rights of the individual winning out, seeing people made more free. They're only worried about their side winning, whether or not it's setting back the country, restricting the freedom and liberty of their fellow citizens. Who cares about that? Our side, we won another vote. It's like they're cheering about who can shoot a bigger hole in the bottom of our boat. We're all sinking. But the fact one side shot a bigger hole in the boat than the other, hey, that's all that's important. Hey, idiots, the boat is sinking. Well, Patrick, don't bother me with those details. My side won. That's all that matters. What they refuse to see is that they are sinking along with the rest of us. Just on the way down to drowning, they can be happy their side was the one who shot that bigger hole in the boat. So We are up on the half-hour break here on the action-packed and exciting Patrick Reagan Show. When we return from this break, I have one or two more things to cover before this hour is over. One of which is, we'll talk about the government shooting Bambi. When we come back in the last half hour of the Patrick Reagan Show.
But it's weird, you can see